Today we're taking a look at these NFL matches, which are happening on Sunday, December 26, 2021, and giving you match breakdowns, betting tips and predictions in general on these games. Welcome back to High Stakes, let's get straight into it. Also, don't forget to subscribe to get notified as soon as we release these sport prediction videos, and if you would like more betting tips and predictions, then check out our Patreon in the link down below. Our new Patreon is a way for us to help you improve your chances of making more money. 5 plans are available for each and every one of you. You can get 30 extra betting picks all the way up to 500 extra betting picks per month. Stop wasting hours of your time searching for bad betting advice that ends up costing you a lot of money. Join the High Stakes Patreon now and get the best betting picks and advice. Denver Broncos vs Las Vegas Raiders. The Broncos might have been sending a signal that they are not focused on the present but the future when they traded one of the best defensive players they had, Von Miller, to the Rams. They have precisely 0 players on their roster that were selected to the Pro Bowl. Another sign is that the team is pretty devoid of significantly talented players, or that the overall organization is so bad that they can't shine. The Broncos average 20 points per game on offense and lean heavily on the run, where they average more than 120 yards per content and rank 7th in the NFL. But despite the strong running game, they struggle in the red zone, ranking 21st according to Thelines.com. The team gives up a lot of sacks as well, but that could be due mainly to the fact that Teddy Bridgewater tends to hold onto the ball too long in the pocket. Despite the lack of any stars on defense, the team is excellent there and only allows 17 points per game. The Broncos are among the toughest teams to score against in the red zone, but they give up a high percentage of third down conversions for an elite defense. Even though Las Vegas won the first matchup between these teams, so much has happened both on and off the field since then, resulting in a major slump, and the close win over the very depleted Browns doesn't inspire much confidence. With plenty of questions for both offenses, betting on the far superior Denver defense is the best move here, and the Broncos will bounce back from a tough loss like they have so many times before the season. Locke might not provide all that much through the air, but this Broncos offense is all about the running game right now, as Williams is only getting better, while Gordon 3 gives a nice 1-2 punch. As limited as Denver is offensively, this is a manageable assignment against a Raiders defense that hasn't been too good against the run at 4.3 yards per attempt allowed and is now dealing with a ton of injuries at every level. Our first betting advice is to pick Broncos. Las Vegas has not been a good bet at 5-9 against the spread and has failed to cover in 6 of its last games overall. Overs are an even 7-7 for the Raiders, with 2 of their last 3 games going under the betting total, including Monday's slugfest in Cleveland. The Raiders have been slipping down the offensive leaderboards the last several weeks and are now averaging just 21.4 points per game, although they have moved the ball well at 369.3 yards per contest. Las Vegas is third from the bottom in scoring defense, with opponents putting up 26.7 points and 348 yards per contest. Carr has completed 364 of 534 pass attempts for 4,162 yards, second most in the NFL, 19 touchdowns and 11 interceptions. Jacobs has racked up 548 yards and 7 touchdowns on 148 carries, while Hunter Renfrow has turned in another excellent season with 89 receptions for 909 yards and 5 touchdowns. Max Crosby is a leader on the Las Vegas defense with 5 sacks, 8 tackles for loss, 25 quarterback hits and 4 pass breakups. Our second betting advice is to pick under 41.5. Quick reminder, don't forget to subscribe to get notified as soon as we release these sport prediction videos, and if you would like more betting tips and predictions, then check out our Patreon in the link down below. Our new Patreon is a way for us to help you improve your chances of making more money. 5 plans are available for each and every one of you. You can get 30 extra betting picks all the way up to 500 extra betting picks per month. Stop wasting hours of your time searching for bad betting advice that ends up costing you a lot of money. Join the High Stakes Patreon now and get the best betting picks and advice. Pittsburgh Steelers vs Kansas City Chiefs. The Chiefs have relied on Tyreek Hill and Travis Kelce all season to carry their offense, with Patrick Mahomes added. Though Hill is expected back, the 2 perennial Pro Bowl picks were part of a COVID-19 outbreak in Kansas City that snagged 13 players on the active roster and 3 more on the practice squad. And while there's a chance that all 3 test out of protocol in time to suit up for a crucial showdown Sunday, there's also a chance that they'll be watching on television. While Kansas City is certainly the better team overall, the Steelers have consistently displayed an incredible ability to muck up the game and make things close. This becomes too big of a big spread when considering who Kansas City might be missing on both sides of the ball, and the Steelers will grind out enough production while playing sound defense to keep within one score on Sunday. The Steelers' defense is certainly capable of limiting opposing passing attacks thanks to an 8.13% sack rate that ranks second in the NFL, starting with Watt, who has looked totally unblockable when healthy. Pittsburgh is weak against the run, but Kansas City doesn't do that well enough, and the Chiefs' offense becomes far less scary with the possibility that Mahomes will be throwing to Mecole Hardman and Byron Pringle instead of Kelsey Hill. Our 1TS betting advice is to pick Steelers +8. The Chiefs are only .500 against the spread at 7-7, but have now covered in 5 straight games during this hot streak. Overs are also 7-7 for Kansas City, with each of its last 2 games going over the betting total. While not quite as prolific as recent seasons, Kansas City still ranks 6th in scoring at 27.5 points per game and 3rd in total offense, with 397.2 yards per contest. The Chiefs' defense has engineered an impressive mid-season turnaround and now ranks 8th in the NFL in scoring at 21.1 points on 366.4 yards per game allowed. Mahomes has been a little sloppier than usual, but is having another strong season, having completed 360 of 549 pass attempts for 4,052 yards, 30 touchdowns and 13 interceptions, while adding 302 rushing yards and 2 scores. Hill has 102 catches for 1,178 yards and 9 touchdowns, while Kels isn't far behind with 83 receptions for 1,066 yards and 7 scores, although both could be unavailable Sunday. Tyrann Mathieu continues to make plays for the Kansas City defense with 65 tackles, 3 interceptions including a pick-6, 2 fumble recoveries, and 2 pass breakups. Our second betting advice is to pick under 45. Washington football team vs Dallas Cowboys. The offense has been poor for the football team. Washington is averaging 20.2 points per game. They rank 21st in passing yards per game and 19th in rushing yards per attempt. Washington's defense is allowing 25.1 points per game and 2.2 sacks per game. They rank 25th in points allowed per game. Washington ranks bottom 3 in passing yards allowed per game and bottom 10 in total yards allowed per game. Washington isn't what anyone would consider a good team right now. I think they've underachieved due to unforeseen injuries, tough circumstances and just flat out underperforming at times. But they'll have Taylor Heinicke back on the field for this game and play with a little more confidence. This is a team that had the Philadelphia Eagles on the ropes with Garrett Gilbert as the starting quarterback. So it's obviously dangerous to be sleeping on them, especially as 10.5-point dogs. That's a bit too steep knowing the issues the Cowboys are having right now. The defense can be had on the back end, and they're the second worst team in the league in penalties. We've also seen Dak Prescott get a bit careless with the ball in the pocket at times. There will be opportunities for the football team to make plays and keep this game respectable. Our first betting advice is to pick Washington football team +10. Taylor Heinicke and company are making a habit of winning games they have no business winning. Obviously, Dallas wants to direct the brunt of their defensive attention toward severing that connection between Heinicke and Terry McLaurin. There aren't a lot of viable weapons on the football team's roster outside of the standout third-year receiver. Dak Prescott was under significant pressure late in that first game against Washington. The football team's defensive front started to get home and wreck drives. They also came away with 2 interceptions including a pick-6 in that game. Safety Malik Hooker is out of this game for the Cowboys, and the team could also be without Tony Pollard at running back. The latter isn't a problem in the short term, with Ezekiel Elliott still serving as the lead back, but it could be a long-term issue in regards to health. Dallas needs to win this game and keep their star players as healthy as possible, with the playoffs creeping closer. Our second betting advice is to pick under 47.